the main three systems that I always make sure people have is Workspace, Teamwork, and 360. If you're not using 360, I would give you like alternate platforms for all of the things that it does. But since you are,
Right.
like, it does all of those things. Now,
It does.
things that I recommend later would be like an accounting system, like QuickBooks, maybe for bookkeeping at some point as you grow. That would also, you could upgrade that at some point to payroll system as well. When you start paying people, we use Airtable. I love Airtable for spreadsheets. You would love it because it's super like interactive and it really looks really good with Chrome. It doesn't work that greatest with Safari. It's kind of slow. But like I use it with Chrome and it's like, I mean, like you can set automations in it. So like when I tag something, like it just moves it all and like, filters for different people. And like I fell in love with it. So that's some of the things we use Zapier for because I like to
Okay.
use it. And it's kind of like a preference. You know, it's just like Google Sheets or Excel, but it's fancy and I like it.
Okay.
But it's not a necessity. It's one of those things that I tell people like I like it, I use it, but if I'm telling you based on a startup that's trying to save money, it's free for a while, but like I think when you get to like 1200 contacts or 1200 lines or something, it's like starts charging you too, like anything else. And so it's like start with the things that you're already paying for. You're already paying for Google, so that's why I recommend Google Forms usually because JotForm, like there's a free account, but once you hit so many submissions, you're going to pay for that, right?
Right.
I love JotForm more too because it's definitely the design, editor is way better. They just look better. Like I like it so much more for those reasons too. But so I think you just always have to consider price as opposed to, you know, how things look and your preferences as well.
Right.
As you grow, you can spend a little bit more on things that maybe aren't necessary, but in the beginning it's like, okay, I really need to keep my expenses low until this business is generating enough to pay yourself something,
Right.
and things like that, because if not, you're putting the money that you'd be putting in your pocket right back into a pretty form or or a cool
Right.
system like Airtable, when you're like, man, this could have really bought me lunch yesterday or
Right.
stuff like that, right? So it's easy for people like us to get like over like excited about the automation aspects of things in the beginning, and I don't think it's as essential as like just keeping in mind the financial part of like a startup business. So
Right.
that's like probably the best advice you could probably keep for now for you. And then as you grow, there's all kinds of cool things that you can do. So focus on like all the automations, like in 360 would be really great for you to learn. Super cool stuff you can do. That'll save you so much time. So that would be really a good place to focus your attention while you're like learning that kind of stuff. It sounds like you have all the things that you need, in place to do it. Like make sure you got that payment processing system connected. I would recommend that you like add yourself as like a lead to 360, like just add your personal email in there, put yourself in there, and then walk through like sending yourself a client agreement and signing it. So like what it looks like, make sure it comes through okay, send yourself an invoice and make sure that you get it, make sure you can, just walk through all the things that you would have to send a client so that you make sure they work and make sure that you're happy with like the way they look. Because when I first got 360, I was sending invoices and then I started having people text me being like, who is this from? Because I didn't realize that my invoices, I never set them up with like my business name or like I didn't go customize them in the settings. So like I had to go into like the notifications and make sure I had my logo in there and I had to like add some custom value fields and things like that so that when those invoices populate and they get those text messages, it says virtual business solutions is charging you this much money, right? So now I never have people telling me that anymore, but like there are things that are easily overlooked. So just make
Right.
sure that you go into like the settings of your client agreement and see what the notification is going to look like when they get that document. And then when you get like if you send yourself an invoice, it should text you as well if you want it to send a text notification and you'll know that does not look super professional. Why is my business name not on here? So those are
Right.
great ways to really test it and make sure that you're happy with it.